Passover begins at sundown on Wednesday, but they'll celebrate during this reality of social distancing. Just this morning, Pope Francis held Palm Sunday Mass without the crowds of the faithful at St. Peter's Basilica. So many people are turning to online services, including the president.
I'm going to be watching on a computer, right? On a laptop. I think on Easter, maybe I'll be watching from a laptop as opposed. So how sad is it that we have Easter Palm and Easter Sunday and people are watching on laptops and computers? It's sad.
But our next guest is going a different route. He's choosing to keep the doors of his church in Louisiana open despite facing citations, fines, potential jail time for violating the restrictions in a hard-hit place in Louisiana. Tony Spell, pastor of Life Tabernacle Church, is with me now. Pastor, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Victor. Good to be here with y'all this morning. Thanks for giving us an opportunity to talk.
So you will be holding service this morning?
This morning, yes, sir, at 10 a.m., we will actually run our buses. We have 27 buses that we cover a 50-mile radius of our city. We bring people into the house of God, feed them both natural food and spiritual food, and then we go back into our respective places. It takes us about 8 hours to run this service on Sunday morning. Then we come back in tonight.
You say 8 hours. Let me ask you, and we're low on time, how many people did you have last Sunday? How many are you expecting this Sunday?
Last Sunday we had 1,800 in attendance. This Sunday, with the fear that's been propagated into the hearts of my people, I don't know, but it may have had the adverse effect, and we may have more people today than last week.
So there is an order from the governor there, John Bel Edwards in Louisiana, barring gatherings of 50 or more. The scientists who advise him suggest that those gatherings put the people who will be coming to your church, the 1,800 last week and whomever will show up this week, in danger. Do you believe them?
We believe the science of this, Victor. However, we do have a command from God, and there are no governing bodies that can tell us we cannot gather and worship freely.
But do you believe the science? Do you believe the science that people who are in these large gatherings close together are at a greater risk of contracting this deadly this disease, this virus? Do you believe the science?
Yes, we believe the science. We also believe that 99.3, which the science says of the people that contract it, a lot of them don't even know they have it and recover. And then with that also, we're more interested. People have been locked up in their homes for 22 days now. Suicide, domestic violence, starvation. And the hope is the last stronghold in those people's lives, Victor.
But Pastor, let me ask you this. If you believe the science, and I assume you are pro-life. Is that correct?
I am pro-life.
How is this a pro-life stance to put people in jeopardy of contracting a disease, getting a virus that has no treatment, no cure, often has no symptoms, and has killed more than 8,400 people, 8,500 people this morning in our country in 5 weeks?
My response to that is people's hope is in the house of God. If they do contract the virus, if they have fears of the virus, the church is more essential now than ever to pray with people, to let them know there is a balm in Gilead, there is a physician in Jesus Christ. He is the healer. He said, "Come unto me, all you that are weary and heavy laden. Let me give you rest." So we were supposed to be at 1.5 million body bags. We're at 8,400. So the narrative is false, Victor.
So
we have been caused. Yes.
Putting the number aside, because I'd imagine the families and friends of those 8,400 would take issue with you suggesting that we should have been at 1 million, but we're just at 8,400. Let me move to another element here, and I want to move to the legal element. You've been cited several times and could face 90 days in jail for each citation, $500 fine. The chief of police there says that this is not an issue over religious liberty, and it's not about politics. We're facing a public health crisis and expect our community's leaders to set a positive example and follow the law. He goes on to say, instead of showing the strength and resilience of our community during this difficult time, Mr. Spell has chosen to embarrass us for his own self-promotion. Is this about self-promotion?
If this were about self-promotion, then I would live stream and televise my services, which we have the ability to do, but we refuse to because the Word of God commands us to assemble together. When I was arrested by the chief of police, after they arrested me, I did pray for he and his assistant chief of police, and I do refer to our governor and our chief of police and all governing bodies by their titles. And I'm not being returned the same favor. However, what I do want to say is this is not about self-promotion. This is an attack on religious liberty in the greatest nation in the world.
But Pastor, what distinguishes your church from the tens of thousands of places of worship around the country and even more beyond the U.S. borders who are right now holding services online, doing this via streaming service?
One word: conviction. Neither the pressure of our friends, family, lawsuit, jail, or death will stop us from operating our convictions, which is, let us go into the house of the Lord. This is the most important place in our life. We do not have a preference religion. This is what made America the greatest nation in the world, people's freedom to worship. And if this were about deaths, then every door in this city would be closed, Victor. And every door in this city, there are more people exposed in the retailers than will be in my service today. Hundreds and even thousands of people. And our lawyers are gathering that information right now.
And one of your lawyers, I'd like to point out, is Judge Roy Moore, who actually ran for Senate in Alabama, isn't even licensed to practice in Louisiana, but will be, I guess, second chair on any potential case. Pastor Tony Spell, we got to wrap it there, but I thank you for answering a few questions this morning.